Guys, it's Reliance and welcome back to the part 3 of making a bustiers for beginner.
And y'all, if you haven't seen the part 1 and 2, y'all could kindly go check that out before coming right back to this video.
So y'all, already pinned the side front and the center front together for the actual fabric because we're going to be sewing the side front and the center front together. So I'm just going to be pinning the second side before I start sewing. So guys, while I'm sewing, I'm making sure to stay on 1/2 inch. Guys, after sewing, I opened up the seams and I'm just going to be ironing the seams just like this. So I'm going to be doing this on both sides. So guys, this is what we have after ironing the seams. And on the lining, I already pinned up the side front and the center front together. So I'm just going to be sewing along the sides like this. And I'm going to be using 1/2 inch like we did on the actual fabric. So we're going to be making cuts on this 1/2 inch that we sewed. Just watch exactly what I'm doing. I'm not going to be cutting all the way through. So if it's your first time doing this, you want to be very careful so you don't actually cut the seams. And this is what we have after cutting. So I'm just going to open this up and iron just like this. So it's very flat. So guys, back to the main fabric. I already opened up the seam for the front section, and I'm gonna be using Haystay to kind of like glue this part. And guys, we're not gonna be going all the way down with this. We're just gonna be stopping at the underbust. So guys, this is what we have after ironing. Okay, so guys, I'm going to be cutting the straps that I'm going to be using for this top. So this is the fabric that I'm using for the straps. I'm just going to cut that out. So we're gonna be sewing the back sides together. We're just gonna close that up like this, and we're also gonna be sewing the lining too. So after stitching the back pieces together, I went right ahead to open up the seams and iron like we did on the front parts. So guys, over here I'm just marking where I want my boning channels to be. So I got the midpoint of the center front and I'm just marking that. And I'm also going to be putting boning on this seam, on the seams that I opened up. And also on the back part, I'm also marking where I want the boning channels to go. There, so I'm just going to be placing my boning on the center front while I sew. And guys, the boning that I'm using is called Regeline boning. You can actually sew on them. But guys, there's a trick to sewing with this boning. So you don't actually sew on the bone itself, you sew on the sides of the bone. There is like fabric allowance on the sides of the bone. That is actually where you sew, because if you sew on the actual bone, your threads are gonna keep snapping. So you don't want that. You just sew on the sides. And guys, when sewing on this curved parts, this is like the bust point, you just want to be very careful. You don't need to rush, just take your time, open up the allowance and you sew. Make sure to be very careful so this doesn't actually come out rough. So guys, I just pinned the actual fabric and the lining, front sides facing each other. So this is what we have right here. So we're just gonna go right ahead and insert the other strap. I already have one strap down here, so we're just gonna insert the other strap and then sew on this. I stitched all around and leaving the side for the loop open because we're going to be stitching this differently. Okay y'all, so I got carried away and I stitched the center boning all the way from the top. And guys, I was not supposed to do it like this because we're doing a bustier, so we're just going to be taking it out. So y'all, this is what I'm supposed to have just from the underbust, and that is actually what you're supposed to do. So guys, I pinned the right sides facing each other of the lining and the actual fabric. And guys, I'm just gonna measure from the top of this bustier to the lower part where I made a chalk mark. So this is 9 inches and I already made a mark around it. So I'm going to measure the same side to make sure that they are equal. And I'm gonna take that same measurement on the back part so that when I'm joining this, it is like aligning perfectly. So yeah, that is basically what I'm doing right here. this is what we have after ironing the front part of this bustier. This looks really nice. So guys, we're just trying this on to see how this fits perfectly. Guys, I am super excited. But anyways, y'all, so we're just gonna start like joining the sides together. And guys, for the loop behind, I made some straps and then I cut them. And I'm just measuring 2 inches space for each strap. That is basically what I'm doing right here. And then I mark that. This is the boning that I'm going to be using. I taped the upper parts and the lower parts, so this didn't actually poke through my fabric. So I'm measuring 2 inches here and I'm making a mark all the way to the upper part. And guys, just watch closely what I'm doing and you're gonna understand what I'm doing. So, and then I'm marking 1 inch like in between the 2 inches that I made. So I'm just gonna mark that all the way up, and then I'm just gonna make a straight line like this. So I'm just going to be opening this up and we can start inserting our boning. So the first one is going inside and we're going to be making sure it doesn't exceed the 2-inch line that we marked. So I'm just trying to feel the boning where it is so it's like straight. And then I'm just going to pin that so it doesn't actually move. So y'all should just watch closely at what I'm doing and then you'll get the hang of it. So I'm just going to be pinning that down like so. So the boning is in between my pins, and yeah. What I'm basically going to be doing right here is I'm going to be sewing the sides of the fabric, making sure the boning is secured in between. I don't know if that actually makes sense, but you're gonna see what I'm doing. So guys, this is what we have after sewing. And for the second boning, we're just gonna be inserting it the way we did the first one. Y'all just watch exactly what I'm doing right here. And you want to make sure it doesn't shift and it sits right where it's supposed to sit. So guys, I am inserting the straps that I cut. I'm just placing this in between the boning and the fabric. I don't know if you can actually see this, but we're just putting the straps in between the boning, just like this. So yes, I'm just going to take that up to where I want this strap to start from. And then I'm just going to sew on it because I have to sew on it to secure it. So yeah, guys, this is basically what I'm going to be doing for the loop at the back side of this bustier. So I'm just going to sew right on this. And then when I get to the next mark that I made, I'm going to repeat the same process till the end of this loop. So y'all, that is basically it. We're just gonna sew the sides and try this out. So guys, this is what the final result looks like. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more fashion and sewing videos. Bye.